questions, but I will leave them to the end. And who wants to discuss something, ask something, comment on something, whatever.
I should probably get them.
Okay, so I have two questions. Well, let me see. One is connected with your third and your second points. So the answer about the question, how should I live, and the puzzle. Because I was surprised by the fact that the Wittgensteinian problem of the family of resemblances and all that appeared in the third point. Hold on, because what is the relation between that, which I think is a very interesting question, and I understand that it comes up in your fourth point, the puzzle point, and it did, in fact. So that didn't surprise me. What surprised me was why did the question appear in your third point?
Okay, I can explain that very easily.
Yeah, hold on. And do you want me to?
Well, maybe I should tell them one at a time because I might not remember them otherwise.
Okay.
And I come back. Yeah. So just because that's discrete, I can answer that question.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So that question, why did I start talking as almost as an aside about Wittgenstein when I was talking about how should you live?
Third point.
Because I was trying to preempt the answer that you could simply, enough about what art is, to make judgments about how relevant that is to your life. If it's a family resemblance term, you're pretty adept as a user of the word art. You don't really need to reflect philosophically in order to work out whether you should spend time with art or not. So I was trying to preempt that Wittgensteinian criticism, as it were, by saying, well, actually, possibly art isn't a family resemblance term because their very example that Wittgenstein can be defined, I think, adequately, and possibly art can as well. So we can't rule out the possibility that engaging in the question, what is art, will be valuable in deciding how we live. But actually, they're not completely separate, each of these questions. So number 3 relates to number 5 as well, I think, because if the very process of reflecting on what art is takes us back and we see things differently, we may then make different assessments about what kind of part they might play in our lives. So the questioning then, so you may have been dismissive about conceptual art, read Dante or Dickey, and then gone back to some conceptual art and want to make it part of your life. So
I thought you would answer in another line. I thought you would go for the relation in Wittgensteinian philosophical investigations between games and forms of life.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so
yeah.
I
well, we leave it. So my second question is on the 5th point, to see things differently, because I really think it is the most important value of art. This is my point of view. But I think that you were hesitating between two reasons of this. To see things differently because we have different theorizing about it, or to see things differently because we experience art as producers and consumers of art in a way that is emotional and indeed changes us. So, and you were going, in between the two lines, I wanted to, yeah.
So that's a good point. Thank you for that. It's I wasn't trying to talk about the second. I completely agree with both the points.
Yeah.
First because I made the first one,
it
and
could be for one reason or for both reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, but I, within the context of this question, why ask what is art? I'm saying asking the question to make you see artworks differently. I think there are many ways in which artworks can make us reflect on our own lives. I think, in a sense, that's the question: why spend time with works of art, which it's a different question from why art is what is art. So if I gave the impression that I was saying that part of why we come to see things differently is because the art changes us, that was a mistake. I was trying to focus on the question I was asking, but I do agree completely with you that is an important aspect of art, and that could emerge from the questioning. You know, we question what is art, and art, amongst other things, when it's great, has the capacity. It's a kind of a set of activities which have the capacity to bring about profound changes in human beings' values and sources of pleasure. So I completely agree with that, but I was trying to just answer the question I set, and I may have strayed a bit, sorry.
Thank you. You have a question there?
I have a question about the definition of the game, which I really like, but here's a possible counterexample. So let's play the following game. You know, for anything that people call a game, let's achieve the end without the unnecessary obstacles. So you go to a chess competition, and you put people mate without playing a game. You go to a golf court, and you don't use a club, and you just put the ball in the hole. So for like here, so I just defined the game. So the question is, would we call this a game?
If you did that with existing golf courses, you just created a lot of unnecessary obstacles.
Okay, that's interesting. So this is how you would do it. Okay, yeah. So it's
but there is a sense. That's a joke. But there is a sense in which you've got the end of getting the ball in the hole, and you can do it anyway. Well, that's like cage fighting tries to do that, but you've still got a cage. There's sort of a sense in which there may be fewer obstacles. But are you going to say that there's no limit to where you hit it from? There's no starting point, and no limit on the type of ball that you use. Once you remove every obstacle, perhaps you don't have a game. But actually, there will be some unnecessary obstacles even in your game. It's just a different game.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like the definition might work. The definition might work, but it's. If we describe my game as a game and start looking for the unnecessary obstacles, then there's certainly a description of the game that I'm proposing that will make it look like a game under the definition. It's just that we seem to be changing the meaning of unnecessary obstacles.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a problem for Bernard Suits.
I'm wondering, because I've heard like a couple of attempts to define a game against Wittgenstein, and I'm still looking for one which works.
He's got a lot of responses to those sort of questions.
Of course,
I can't off the top of my head remember whether he's got a response to that one. But I think there is. So I'm trying to imagine. So football used to be, you have a pig's bladder and you've got to get it from one end to the other by any means whatsoever. I guess the unnecessary obstacles is there are other people trying to take it the other way. If you just, would it be a game if you don't have any restriction on how you get the ball in the hole? I don't know.
It wouldn't be that game,